Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, where I am going to attempt a live solve of today's Times Cryptic Crossword. So I'll try and talk you through my thinking as we go. And right, without further ado, dawning as the answer to this clue will be, no idea. Let's have a look. Lies first thing in flat in bed snoring. Okay, well you can see if you look at the first letters of flat in bed and snoring, you would get the word fibs, which certainly means lies. Now, a bit tricky that clue. First thing. You'd think it would be first things to really indicate all of the initial letters, but that's slightly strange. Dawning as this answer, as this first, I'm not sure. Shout for grub. Not sure. Penniless, affected by termination of loan, packed up and moved on. Penniless, broke. Broken or broke. Broken camp, I think is the answer there. You can see affected is camp, and then the termination of loan is N, combined with broke, penniless, and packed up and move on. It's past tense. If you break camp, you pack up and move on. Every Python episode, all you could desire. Every Python, the full Monty. I think that's just a sort of cryptic pun there. The full Monty Python. This does look like first still, doesn't it? Shout for. If you shout for somebody, you root for them. And if you grub around in the earth, you would root as well. So this is first something. Old American, maybe Incan, takes lid off empty container. Takes lid off empty container. Still one. Murmur ancient epic, missing last note shame. Murmur ancient epic, missing last. Maybe that's Iliad without its last last letter. So a murmur would be a missing last note. Yeah, that would still work with missing the D. Single-mindedness of concept for the French connection. Concept for the French. Sounds like the translation of the word concept. Single-mindedness. I'm being slow this evening. Round, almost colourless stone. Well, pale is colourless, so if we take a round, which can be anything round, a circle or an O is round, followed by most of pale, we get opal, which is a stone. Right impression promoted in a regular family group. Right could be proper, I guess. Amount of light oil in musty nuts. So that feels like an anagram of oil in musty to me, with nuts being the anagram indicator. So we need an amount of light. How about luminosity? Does that fit? Yes. A little child, head sent to the back for one thing. Well, a mite is a child. If we send the first word or letter back, we get item, which is one thing. God moving origin of universe back in time. Well, Horus would be a god. So you can see that if we move the origin of the word of universe, which is the first letter of universe, the U, back in hours, we get Horus, which I think is right. So now sewn up, perhaps painlessly. Well, without. Painlessly, without, now sewn up, perhaps. Maybe this one. Columbines one limb eye clad in pale blue. One limb eye clad in pale blue. So I need a word for pale blue, and then I need to put, see, one, I just want that to be like this construction. A limb would be a leg. Let's just have a look at this one. Suffer to qualify. Suffer. To qualify. If you suffer something, you go through it. And if you qualify from a heat, you go through. So in brief, be returning the broken missile launcher. Trebuchet is a missile launcher, so I wonder if that could be right. In brief, be returning the broken, missile launcher. Curt. Okay, so you can see there we've got the word be inside the word curt, and curt can mean brief. If we reverse all of that, because it's returning, we get the TREBUC there, and then the broken is an anagram of the word the. Put that all together, we get trebuchet, which is an old catapult. So my thought about Iliad is totally wrong there, which actually works better in terms of how this clue might end. I think this is something like this. Columbine. How about Aquilegia? Now, I think that is a word. But what I can't remember is whether that is an I or an A there. Oh dear. And you can see the word one in here. Well, that could indicate either an I or an A. Aquilegia. I slightly prefer that look at the moment, but I might come back to it. Albert for one, look at all the mountains. Well, if you look at something, you watch it, all the mountains would be a chain, and Albert is a watch chain. Roman censor, that's Cato, suppresses new, that's an N, part of a poem is a canto, so fairly straightforward. Following, plotter, do deed to acquire ship. A plotter might be a charter. Somebody who plots a map would be a charter. Do deed to acquire ship. Following platter, do deed. Charter, house, no. Reverse fortunes, not the record holders. No. Genuinely not about to join in marriage. Well, really, R-E-A-L-L-Y means genuinely. If we remove the re from that, the re is a word that means about. So genuinely not about would give us ally, which is to join in marriage. Call to abolish home counties may be a central feature. And if you said no southeast, home counties, whenever you see that in a crossword clue, it's always cluing the southeast of somewhere, so it's the southeast of England, so SE there. That looks like the right answer. So reverse, turntables. Yes, if you reverse somebody's fortunes, you would turn the tables, not the record holders. Well, I think that's just a pun. It's saying it doesn't mean it in this sense. A turntable would hold a record in a sort of record playing sense. Facing spread, ticked off eating large piece of cake. Facing spread. No idea. County, celebrities, ignoring unknown, bizarre artist. Sampled at intervals, hamper will do for several weeks. Well, if you take the even letters of the words hamper and will together, you will find spells out April, which is a period of several weeks. Face losing half one's kidney treatment. Well, face is a dial, and that's half of dialysis, so fairly straightforward there. Lost pet has run away. Wait, well, a stray is a lost pet. Run away, take the R out, and you get the word stay, which means wait. Good tip for you is, you ever get stuck on a crossword, start in the bottom right, because the compiler often gets tired by the point he gets to clue these later words, and sometimes they're much more straightforward, which seems to be the case here. Facing spread, ticked off, eating large. Piece of cake, child's play. I'll come back to why that's that at the end. This looks like an anagram of artist at the end, so celebrities. Ignoring unknown. Celebrities normally something like A-list or stars. Celebrities, ignoring unknown. Unknown is always X, Y or Z, so we're looking to take one of those letters from a word that means celebrities, then possibly add an anagram of artist at the end to give a county, although I may be misreading it. Let's look at this one again. Right impression, promoted in a regular family group. How about patriarchy or something like that? Right impression. You can see we've got R for right here, and impression is an air. Something has the air of something, it has the impression of it. And that's being all reversed in patchy, which means irregular. And the whole thing is a family group. Single-mindedness of concept for the French connection. It used to be something like Channel Tunnel, something that connects to the French. Single-mindedness. Concept for the French. Should be able to get that. Dawning, first light. This is a crossword clue is a light. That's just a word you come across from time to time. So dawning's first light. I should have got that much more quickly. A murmur is a hum. Ancient epic, missing last note. Shame, humiliate. Oh, so it is Iliad without the last letter, and then a note can be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, or do, and the spelling of the note T is T-E, like this. So, interesting. So, oh, this tunnel vision then, it was something like Channel Tunnel. Single-mindedness, tunnel vision, concept for the French connection. Okay, nice. So, chart, following plotter, do deed, to acquire. Ship. Charter boat, a charter. I should be able to get that. I can't see why I can't. Now sewn up, perhaps. Painlessly. Now sewn up, perhaps. If something's now sewn up, it's without holes. Charter yacht, could that be? I don't see why. So I'll have to get this one. A county. Celebrities. Oh, celebrities, maybe celebrities is A-list at the end here. A surrealist, so Surrey, removing its last unknown, which is an E, a Y, would give us just the first 5 letters here. Celebrities, A-list, and a bizarre artist, surrealist. So now sewn up, perhaps, without, now sewn up perhaps painlessly, without tears, without tears. If something hasn't got any tears, it would be sewn up, so that would look good there, wouldn't it? So this then, plotter, do deed, looks like act in the middle. Plotter, charter, do deed, to acquire ship. Oh, a do could be a party. So a deed to acquire a ship, is that a charter party? Don't know. There we go. So it was correct. So there was just Aquilegia. There was a bit of a guess on the letter there. Let's just check the meaning. And there you go. You can see it on screen there. Aquilegia with an I, a plant of the columbine genus. So you learn something new every day, or perhaps some of you were very familiar with that, but I certainly wasn't. And then just the other one to mention is the wordplay to child's play down here, which is it's quite tricky actually. Facing spread is saying put on the face of a word that means spread, and splay means spread. And then ticked off is chid, C-H-I-D there. Chide, depending on how you like to pronounce these things. But I think without the E at the end, chid is probably right. And that's eating large. Well, L can be abbreviated to can be an abbreviation for large. So there we've got child at the start of splay, and child's play obviously is a piece of cake. So nice crossword actually. There were a few that I should have got much more quickly, and 1 or 2 that I was quite proud to get. Quite glad, I suppose, to just bung in. Trebuchet I got almost instantly, which is a surprise. But then a lot of trouble with that charter party at the end. Simply, I think, because it's just not an expression I've ever heard before, and it was nicely disguised in the wordplay. And then just 4 down there, we've got Old American. Well, that's obviously an Incan. Takes lid off empty container. You'd have seen I paused over that. I could see container for can very quickly, and I was very, very tempted with Incan, but couldn't see how in, or we could put a letter at the start of the word in and come up with a word that meant empty. But I think what was going on here is it was tin can, and a tin can is sort of, that is an empty can. You can certainly sense, there's a sense in which it's always empty. So I think what it's saying is remove the start of the phrase tin can rather than remove the start of a 3-letter word, which means empty there. And thanks very much for watching. We'll be back soon, another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.